Mr. Andreas Caminada. We are at your restaurant in Schloss Schauenstein in Fürstenau in Switzerland. Can you please explain what your philosophy in your kitchen is, about your style of cooking?
Yeah, style of cooking. I think for me it's very important to be very close to the product, not to change it too much. I like very much the natural flavor. If I take a tomato, it has to taste like a tomato. I don't want to make too many. I'm not searching to develop a tomato into something very special. I just try to keep it very simple. And I think the whole kitchen, the whole cooking here at Schauenstein is very basic actually. We just make tomato, like a tomato vinaigrette. It's very basic. We just take some nice olive oil, some nice white wine vinegar, some shallots, some freshly chopped herbs, and that's it. And maybe some salt and pepper, and not more, because I think it doesn't need more. We just try to keep it to save the normal, the natural taste. That's what we want to put over into a dish.
Where did you get that philosophy? Is it something you came up with your own, or do you have certain inspirational persons that influence you?
I think there's a lot of influence. There's a lot of influence, but actually it is very easy. If I cook this thing of kitchen, what I cook like I like to eat. So that's actually the simple philosophy. If I like it, I cook it. If don't, I don't. So and we want to improve as well. So there are lots of influence of other restaurants as well. But I still try to make my own, to go my own way, not to copy, only to get inspired, but to take my own thing out of it. And so the influence is everywhere. The influence is, it's in other restaurants. The influence can be on a day, I don't find the word. Or if you go to a museum, or you see some architecture, or the influence is everywhere. So I think you just have to keep your eyes open and to look around and to try to do a known type of cuisine.
Can you give an example of certain influences, like a daily market, like architecture, that you translated into a dish, and can you describe the dish that came from that?
No.
Do you have an example?
No, I don't have any example. I think, if you're into cooking and or into stress, sometimes you just need an idea and then it just comes. And you don't know from where it comes. You try to get inspired from everywhere, and when you need something, when you're under pressure, then you just come what it comes. So you can, I don't know, I can't say it comes from this side or from this side. You just make it without thinking too much.
And you said there are some influential chefs that inspire you. Can you name some of those chefs? Are they internationally well known, or maybe some local chefs that you went into scholarship with?
I think it's different as well. I mean, there's a very nice woman up in a small town. She just cooks very well because she keeps the tradition of the region. That's very nice as well. In my kitchen, I try to go over the land over Switzerland. So there are many nice chefs. Like in Holland, you have great chefs like Johnny Boer and Jan Boerma or Sergio Herman. I mean, there for me, it's not Spain anymore. It's the Dutch ones. So, or the Nordic ones, like Noma as well. If you go into a new type of cuisine, I think like Noma, so they're very back to the roots and back to the product and back to the region, and I think that's the future. And I think you have to go a little bit with the trends, but not try to be trendy. Just get influenced of it and go your own way. So that's what we want. And I think that's every restaurant wants to find an own way, and we try to do this as well. And I love to go, I love to eat, and I love to get inspired in nice hotels and in nice restaurants. And I think that's an art of living, or a kind of living as well. Because if you don't like to do things like that, I think you can't be a very good chef or be a very good server for a guest. So I think that's a philosophy of life, or philosophy of living.
Now you talk about a new European cuisine. You name some examples. Of course, cuisine started in France with Escoffier and way back. Then we had Paul Bocuse with the Nouvelle Cuisine. Then we had the Spanish example, like you mentioned. And I think the last past years there's a new type of European cuisine, and you already started to characterize that. How do you see that new European cuisine, and where does it start and where does it end, maybe?
Where it ends, I don't know. Where it starts, I think, you know, the global thinking and the global products who you can buy everywhere. They're getting into normal daily products. So I think there are some citrus, some like yuzu, like those Asian products. I think they're already normal into our culture, because we have many people who live in the same countries, and so it's just a very big mix. And I think the future goes even more back to the roots, like it was, like the history of each country. Like, you know, we have very nice, you know, in our country here in this region, they used to have potatoes, and they used to have maybe some fruits and some meat. They didn't have any fish or like this. So that's difficult for me to transport everything like this, because I like fish and I want to serve to my guests fish. But actually the usual cooking was very simple. A lot of potato dishes and a lot of flour dishes, because the region is actually a very poor one. And I think there are many other regions as well, all over Europe. And so I think every region thinks, or many chefs are like Noma, like Granny Recipe, they're thinking of going back to these original products and create dishes out of those products. And I think that's the future 5 to 10 years. And then maybe it changes again into, I don't know, into the world products cuisine.
Talk about regional cuisine and about produces that come from this area. What's your own favorite produce from this area, from particularly this part of Switzerland?
You know, it's a seasonal thing as well. We have very nice asparagus, just opposite from our valley, just 30 minutes from here. Very nice white asparagus. We have like vegetables, fruits. We have all the things who are around. We have many biological farmers who grow their own little vegetables. So in the summertime it's nice to get the vegetables from there. Now in the wintertime it's a little bit more difficult to get them. And we have some local farmers who grow their own beef and veal. And we have a lot of sausage, very nice, like Salzitz or like Bündnerfleisch is very well known, the dried beef. And we for our guests in the hotel, for the breakfast as well. We need it for the breakfast, and there we take all this meat from those local farmers. And the meat in the restaurant we try to get out of the region as well. It is not always easy to get those certain amount of meat in the meat, but we try it. And I think when I started 6 years ago, I didn't have the time to go out and to have a look what kind of producers are around. And so I think every year it's getting better to get to know more people who get to get inspired from them as well. So I think you have to grow with them, or they with me. And so the future will bring even more local products.
Andreas, you told me that your girlfriend actually lives in Amsterdam, so that means you spent quite some time in the Netherlands, I suppose. What do you know about the Dutch cuisine, and what do you think about it?
You mean the real Dutch cuisine? I don't know a lot of them, because I think the cuisine culture in Holland, I don't know. It starts to get, you know, they're getting a lot of good science out of it. I think Sergio Herman and Jacob Jan Boerma and and many other chefs, they show, I think they show the whole nation that there is very, very good cuisine into Holland. But it's still very difficult to find very, very good food all over the country, I think. But those restaurants were, I think, I mean, Sergio is my favorite if you compare it on the map, on the whole map at the moment, because he has a lightness and he has a, yes, it's just, I think he has a very, very, he has his own way as well. And he is also very close to the product and makes some, he got a very influenced cuisine of maybe of the Spain part, and Jakob Jan Boom as well, and Johnny Boer as well. But every style is different, and I think that's the important thing as well, that not everybody makes the same. So I think the Dutch ones are getting very fast, like in football, you know.
So you know a little bit about what's happening in Dutch gastronomy. Do you have an advice for Dutch chefs? Who is there anything that they should do or should not do?
No advice. I take many advices from them, but I don't have any advice for those. They are big chefs, and I think they're going their own way, and they don't need any advice from me. I'm a little Swiss guy who's just trying to do every day, to give every day my best.
Do you go out to restaurants in the Netherlands often?
In Amsterdam? Sometimes, yeah. I have a little, very nice Indian restaurant, Purma. We go very often there because it's just very nice and very good Indian food.
And earlier you said that you are a little bit influenced by Dutch chefs as well. Is that really true? Do you look what's happening in the Netherlands and then try to use those techniques and products in your own restaurant?
I think not to use the techniques, or just to get inspired, to get motivated, to find an own way. And I think in the Dutch cuisine in the last couple of years there was a big movement into it, and because you know, if you go to Paris, it's just completely different. It's just very, very traditional and it's very good as well, the food. But I think it's just, you know, there's not that much power and that much passion into the food like in Dutch at the moment. Or I think in Switzerland is this passion growing as well, or like in Spain, or there are many other countries who just love to serve good food and love to have a complete experience. I mean, my biggest goal is to get, how do you say, the biggest goal is to create a whole experience, not only the food. It's about the hotel rooms, it's about the region, it's just the whole experience who counts, and that's what Sergio does as well, or what Johnny Boer does with his hotel and everything. And I think that's the most important thing, to see both sides, not only the kitchen. I think the food is nice, but if the restaurant isn't that nice, so for me it doesn't fit. And so that's my biggest goal. And so that's the restaurants who find the way to have a complete experience. That's those restaurants who inspire me. And I think that's the way that we have success, like we had in the past.